personal liability insurance help cover us, or what about our insurance, protection?
I don't think you would have any coverage on this. I don't know what Autumn has in terms of coverage and what might be available. She'll have to address that, but I don't think you have any coverage that would apply to this job.
If you allow me.
Yes.
We are well insured as a company. I'm also pretty well insured myself. Whether it would cover a board, I'm not sure. I did submit this to my insurance and they are reviewing it for possible inclusion and defense for us. I don't think that this is going to be much of an issue at all. I believe that you all had the opportunity to read the allegations. They are so disjointed and mismatched and written by a Chapter 11 attorney that I really didn't pay a whole lot of, I didn't give it a lot of weight. Not to say that I didn't pay a lot of attention. Of course, I immediately discussed it with my counsel. I have very good counsel, as I'm sure you imagine. He did help me write a little statement to give you guys. I think you know that I have a tendency of saying things that perhaps may not be advisable, so I did write it down if you'll let me read it to you.
Yes,
Of course, I am currently involved in the legal matter with Tropical Seas, as you will know. I've been advised by my counsel not to discuss the details while the litigation is pending. I will say the charges leveled against me in the lawsuit are untrue, unsubstantiated, and completely frivolous. Frankly, they tick me off. Further, Tropical Seas has a history of lashing out at competition. This is not new to them. It's not new to the industry. There's many others within the industry that feel the same and have dealt with this with them. I find it almost amusing that a company with a 20-plus year history is clearly threatened by our progressive actions. We're a really small company. They're not so big themselves after 20 years. We do intend to vigorously defend ourselves against Tropical Seas' unjustified suit. We will be considering all of our legal options, including whether to bring a countersuit against them. It's my recommendation. While I do not relish being sued, I do believe that one possible silver lining to the case is that the publicity from this suit is going to be very good for us. Regarding the insurance, I believe that our insurance company will cover at least half of the claims that are in there.
Thank you, Autumn. Any
Thank you.
questions of the board for Autumn? Of course, that she might be able to answer that in the lawsuit.
No, I just request a roll call vote.
Fair. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, thank you, Autumn. Any public comment?
I would like to make a comment that we have offered this to the board to strengthen our position in this situation. Without the amendment, the contract that we have is still valid because it hasn't been revoked. Should be. Well, that's not part of this discussion. I know, and I'm just suggesting that if you're not going to approve the amendment, then you need to take up the issue of terminating whatever we have. I have no idea what or how you unwind that, but if we spend it. But suspending it probably would be a bit disingenuous from an economic development standpoint because all of that money that we have spent thus far may be wasted. Could be. Well, I'm not certain that cutting off our nose to spite our face is a wise course of action.
Let's just be pouring money into it.
Well,
Still, I have been a hard.
you say pouring money into it as if it is an empty hole. I don't understand where you come up with.
Well, I'm hoping that it's not. I have supported Autumn and that thing down there since day one. But this has caught me by surprise. And we need to be prudent with the public money, Bill.
Lawsuits are a fact of life. I mean, we can't, every business faces that every day. It's not something you tuck your tail and run from when it happens.
But it's private money. This is not private money.
It's economic development money.
It's the citizens of Hardee County's money.
It's economic development money. It is the citizens' money for
Yes.
economic development.
And we need to be prudent with it. We're charged to make sure that it's spent properly, in my opinion.
Okay?
What?
But was it being spent properly in absence of the lawsuit?
Well, I don't think we can take the chance.
you said you have supported this. If the grant was okay, if the development of the business was okay, why should the presence of a lawsuit stop that action?
Because we may lose $400,000 if she spends it, and then she loses the lawsuit, we're down the drain, that $400,000 that we could have saved.
If we
Well, then-
won't, we lose the money that's in it so far.
Well, I've heard you say many times you don't win them all.
Well, but I thought that one of the provisions, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I thought I understood was that, those, any of those costs would be her costs to bear. None of that would have any bearing on the grant award agreement or the grant funds.
It is, I mean, the language there includes the obligation to defend, which means if we were made a party to it somehow, then it's her responsibility, either personally or through Stream to see, to provide counsel and defend. So it at least addresses even the scenario where we're actually made a party somehow. The other issue